So starting with why you all have come here. Instead of coming over here, if you would have been doing something else, what would it be? Or what is your normal routine?
I am here for some reason in Mumbai.
Not in Mumbai, particularly in why you are for the job. Just because I got
I have no other work, so I came here.
Okay, so you have no other work. Usually what do you do?
I have some college stuff going on about. I have to submit a weekly report for my internship.
You?
Just playing PUBG.
You?
So I had to get myself like boots, like gum boots. I could have gone there, but I thought this would be a better choice.
Choice. So that's what my point is, that you make a choice. So this is the basic choice which you have made. हम रोज एक ऐसी basic choices लेते हैं in terms of eating food or what do we have to do with our career or work, how do we talk to other person, everything including from the basic to the high end, we take a choice, we make a choice and we follow it. Then it goes further. So starting with choices. So what is a choice according to you?
Like the example you gave, in choice, the process is very narrow, thinking process is very narrow. So we think which channel we watch or which shirt do we have to wear. But while taking decisions, it is a broader process, like which college we have to go and which stream we need to choose.
So within that also, when it is narrower, we are making a decision. So it's like a decision process can be narrower or can be wider. It's not that a choice is like a wider thing or decision making is a wider thing.
So choice is multiple options and decision is that chosen option which I am taking.
So kind of outcome of a decision making process is a choice. So we have many choices. We choose, we decide, and then that is the whole process is called a decision making process. That's how we decide.
Choice is something very good. Like if I'm deciding on something, so this is a choice. Like I made it. But उसको buy करना नहीं करना थोड़ा सोच के भी करो. Choice थोड़ा कम सोचते हैं.
Short listing.
So then you have few options in front of you and you make the decision to choose one option or other options. That is the choice that you want to make.
The path we choose.
The path we choose.
Priorities.
Priorities.
What they said
Oh.
between two options.
So between few options, we decide to take one option. So either these three if we have or more, like two or more possibilities can be there, two or more options can be there, and we take out of these we take a one choice. We make a one choice. So we can also say it's a outcome of a decision making process. So when we are deciding and making like we are deciding on something, what we want to do, either being it what color of a shirt we want to wear today. So उसमें भी हमने एक choice बनाया है, but उसका हमने decision making process was very narrow. Like okay, I know ये या ये नहीं तो ठीक है, it's fine. Otherwise sometimes वही same process अगर हम शादी में ये पहनना, ये खरीदूँ, ये खरीदूँ, ये खरीदूँ. We can have a proper decision making process कि ये कलर अच्छा लगेगा, ये लगेगा. Sometimes the choices, the decision making process is narrower, and sometimes it is wider. So that's how we make a choice. So how come choice is different from decision making? I guess. So like choices example can be we have a remote, TV remote. So we choose हमें कौन सा channel चलाना है. Either National Geographic, cartoon, movies, sports. We have an options. So that is like a choice we make, which button to press and which number to go on for television to watch certain sports or cartoon channel. So that is a choice. What is the difference between choice and decision?
Decision impact our life in a greater way.
How? So we choose out of these options. So if we have to choose out of these options, so we have a choice to make. So first we decide, do we want to make a choice or we don't want to make a choice. Then we evaluate make a list of pros and cons, then while or I've written it, write it down, or I'll share with someone. But we evaluate the process. Sometimes it happens very quickly that we don't even realize that we are making a pros and cons thing, or just there's a belief कि ये सही है, that is the pro, और इसके आगे सब करना. So pros and cons are always there. So we evaluate each of the choice with the pros and cons. And उसके बाद we end up choosing one of the option. Then finally we decide. Okay, so we have chosen. We decide कि ये वाला option is better. But then again we have a choice to act upon. So we can take a decision. For example, my brother wanted to go for cricket academy, and wanted to learn cricket and wanted to pursue cricket as a career. But he decided that, but he was not able to act upon it. It can be certain reasons. So then again he had a choice to make, that do we want to do that, or he can be okay with it. So acting or not acting upon it is one thing. Then finally, after acting or not acting is also an action doing in a certain way. So either he would have gone for that career, or he is doing something after that. So he will be evaluating the process कि मैंने जो ऑप्शन चूज किया वो सही था या गलत था, मतलब मैं वो वाला ले सकता था या नहीं ले सकता था. So on that evaluation, then people evaluate, and on that evaluation basis they form beliefs or assumptions. I'll give you quick examples on it. 2-3 good examples I have. So there's this one movie called Matrix. उसमें उसको ऑप्शन था that he can choose either a red pill or a blue pill. So he was hallucinating and he was in his dream world. Drugs were given and he used to take drugs. So with the red pill, अगर वो red pill लेगा तो उसके वो जो hallucinations है, वो जो dream world में है, he will stick on to that. मतलब वो continue रहेगा like that. And if he'll take the blue pill, तो जो अभी at present चल रहा है life में, he'll come in touch with the reality. So there was this choice given to him. So what he had to take a choice, तो एक choice. Then he evaluated the process कि red pill के क्या pros and cons हैं and the blue pill के क्या pros and cons हैं. So we can also say a cost benefit analysis of that choice. Then choosing the one option out of it. तो उसने, if suppose he ended up choosing blue pill, I'll get in touch with the reality. He gets in touch with the reality. Then he decides to act upon it. And after acting, he evaluates जो मैं already उस process में था, hallucinate कर रहा था, और एक मैं अभी हूँ जब मुझे reality के touch में है. So which one was better for me? So evaluation and beliefs, assumptions again, that वो better था या ये better था. And next time you go again to him कि अगर अभी मेरे पास 2 pill और है, and again you can choose. So what do we like how do we decide? So based on this, he finally makes some beliefs or assumptions. Based on that beliefs and assumptions, he again decides a new choice. So this is about the movie Matrix. Let's take a very simple example. We all do online shopping, right? So online shopping में we scroll down, जो पसंद आया wish list में डाल दिया. There's another option. We can put that into cart. So we can either directly buy it or we can put it in a wish list. So when we put it in a wish list, we have an option to choose and a decision to make. Okay, मुझे खरीदना है कि नहीं है. So the process is not yet completed. So there's this thing left कि अभी मुझे इसको pros and cons देखने हैं उसके. Then I'll decide and then I'll act and then I'll evaluate कि जो मैंने खरीदी है चीज़ वो सही है कि नहीं. So first I end up स्क्रॉलिंग एंड उसके बाद मैंने कुछ विश लिस्ट में डाले, कुछ डायरेक्टली कार्ट में डाले। विश लिस्ट से कार्ट वाले तो मैंने खरीद ली, तो मुझे पता है कि ये मुझे चीज़ चाहिए एंड आई एंड अप बाइंग इट। अबाउट द विश लिस्ट वी डिसाइड, वी मेक द प्रोज एंड कॉन्स कि मुझे खरीदना है कि नहीं खरीदना है, एंड सम एप्स डू परसुएड यू कि आज ये ऑफ में मिल रहा है, जिससे यू अगेन डिसाइड कि इज इट अ गुड टाइम टू बाय और इज इट नॉट अ गुड टाइम टू बाय। सो दैट्स हाउ प्रोज एंड कॉन्स आर कैलकुलेटेड फ्रॉम दैट विश लिस्ट, एंड उसके बाद हम कुछ चीज़ उसमें से वापस कार्ट में डाल देते हैं एंड वी डिसाइड कि ये अब हमें खरीदना है। अब वो खरीदने के बाद जब आती है तो देन वी इवेल्युएट कि अभी जो हमने खरीदा था, जो सोच के खरीदा था, वो सही था कि वो गलत था, हमें कुछ और करना चाहिए था कि यही करना चाहिए था। एंड नेक्स्ट टाइम व्हेन यू अगेन गो ऑन दैट सेम और वो ऐप अच्छी है कि नहीं, द क्लोथ इज गुड और नॉट, इज इट रीजनेबल कॉस्टिंग, क्योंकि कहीं हमें उससे अच्छा प्रोडक्ट मिल जाता है in fact lower rates. So was it good or not? That's how we evaluate, and then we form beliefs and assumptions. So why I wanted to explain you this was because we all know कि हम ये ऐसा करते हैं, हम pros and cons बताते हैं, but जब actually एक बहुत बड़ा decision लेना होता है, so we forget that we have a choice. We have a choice to make. So there is this one more example, a complex one. Let's say a friend of you calls. If we divide any process into sub-processes, how we do and what we do, then we can evaluate ourselves better. And then problem maybe stress or something would be less. As you calls you up and you just picks up her call, and then she starts saying कि मेरे घर में issues चल रहे हैं and I'm not able to cope up with it. I wanted to marry this guy and they're not allowing me to marry this guy. मतलब what should I do? They never listen to me. Should I run away? So she starts giving up the choices कि मैं भाग जाऊँ, या she's practically asking कि मैं भाग जाऊँ या should I stay back, और मैं उनको समझाऊँ या फिर जो बोल रहे हैं उनकी बात मान के वो चीज़ कर लूँ। The guy, so he has a decision to make कि पहले तो उसने कॉल उठाया, ठीक, उसके बाद he has this choice available in front of him कि उसकी बात सुननी है कि नहीं सुननी है। उसने सुनी, he chose to listen to her because probably they are good friends and he knew कि वो क्या बोलेगी। फिर उसके बाद again he has a choice to make कि अब इसमें से जो उसने choices present की है लड़की ने, उसमें से I should friend ने जो मुझे उसमें से एक choice choose करके देनी है कि नहीं देनी है। So suppose he ends up giving a choice कि okay let's say कि तुम भाग जाओ, मुझे पता है कि तुम बहुत प्यार करती है, ये है वो है, you go, जा भाग जा, and it will be a good decision to make. Okay, so she ends up getting. Abhi after few days or after few months she calls up again and say तेरी वजह से ही हुआ, मैं भाग गई, and अभी nothing is going right in my life now. So this like we'll come to this story later on, again like the accountability part of it. So people had their choices to make in this thing. So the person decided to call up the friend decided to give up the choice. How we give the choice and how we take up those choices, that also matters. So few things is believe it or not, we have a choice to make. We always have a choice. It's never ever that we don't have a choice. Like of course when you are a child and you are not able to handle yourselves, then you don't have a choice. But from the point you start understanding your own self, you have a choice to make. That is first key learning which I want to share with you. The second will be that it's okay, you made a choice, you made it the best choice that was available to you at that point of time, at that circumstance. So in the moment लड़की को लगा कि मुझे उससे पूछ लेना चाहिए, she ended up making a choice to call that friend. She could have taken the choice by herself, but she ended up calling him. Not that the guy called and asked him कि नहीं मुझे बता क्या problem है, I'll decide for you. So she had the choice to make, and उसके बाद the guy he had the choice कि मेरे को उसको बताना चाहिए कि नहीं, and बताना है तो मुझे किस तरीके से बताना चाहिए. So basically choice is more of an internal value based or what we say beliefs. So based on that we take a choice, and with the decision it is more external. So with the performance कि अगर मैं decision लूँगा तो क्या क्या होगा, क्या क्या करना है मुझे, एंड इसका आउटकम्स क्या होंगे, इसके परफॉर्मेंसेस क्या होंगे. So based on that we make a decision. So that's a basic distinction between decision and a choice. Anybody has any doubt on this or anything which you are struggling with making a choice in life? Is it more clearer now?
If a person has made the decision, so why he is not acting on it? That he has decided to act on it. That's why he have taken some
Give me
decision.
specific example.
Like I have chosen to take badminton coaching. So why I am not acting on it? Why I am evaluating it again and again?
You tell me that.
No, I am asking to you why a person is not acting if he has taken the decision.
Taking a decision means you have finally decided कि हो. Not that कि अच्छा मैं अभी ये कर सकता हूँ. I want to do it. I want to do it is basically a wish or a need that I need to fulfill it. Other than that, times it may happen कि तुझे करना है. You want to do badminton coaching and stuff. But maybe the financial constraint. So you have decided on your part, but अभी financial constraint है. So there's a limitation to what you decide. अभी if you're saying that you have decided, then the best answer who can give about this is कि तू क्यों नहीं कर? So why are you not doing it? Why are you again keep on evaluating it? Then
No, I was asking this only that what should I evaluate if I am not doing it after taking a decision? What is the reason?
that's what. So you haven't taken a decision till yet. But अभी भी अगर if you are in a deciding process, then इसमें ही है. But ये है कि maybe 80% you have decided and 20% you are still not sure. So 20% you need to see कि to 20% why are you still doubtful about that decision to take on? कि should I go for it or should I not? If you have decided, then go for it. Procrastination or being a financial constraint, that is a different thing. But if you have decided कि मुझे ये करना है, then why aren't you doing it? Is because you have decided only at 80%, 20%, there's still doubt left within somewhere. That maybe let's check, maybe what क्या होगा, should I do this or not? There are still question marks to such things. Till the point of time you have questions in your mind about a certain decision which you say that you have decided. Till then, it is not the option you have chosen and decided. Anything else? Now the question is, how do we choose better? That's a question कि अभी तक मैंने decide कर लिया है, मैं decide उस पर work नहीं कर पा रहा. Still, that means that still I need to choose. So how do I choose in a better and an effective way? That's the question. There are like 5 things which I feel that's the particularly best thing which you can do for deciding a choice. First being productive self-talk. So let's take your example. While you were deciding, what did you used to say to yourself?
I need to do this thing to become this, so I have to take some decisions which is more perfect for me to make something in life.
So I need to do this or I want to do it, but this is my passion. Which one is better? Or this is what I really want to do.
I need to do this.
There's a need to it. So need, how does you define need? Need is like a fulfillment to something कि ये चीज़ है कि ये चीज़ थोड़ी वो है, I need to fulfill this thing, and that's why I want to do it. When you want something to do it, कि I wish कि मुझे ये करना है, so then there is some commitment to from your internal self to yourself कि I will do it no matter what stops me. So still how better can you say to yourself कि so that you end up taking a better choice?
Much better is I can do this.
I can do this. You agree to that?
Yeah.
So of course you need to agree with whatever sentence you say to yourself. So I can do this. Would that be helping you better?
Of course that will be helpful. Yeah.
So that is first productive self-talk. So because self-talk comes from the internalization से, अंदर से आता है. There's a belief to it कि मुझे ये चीज़ करनी है, वहाँ से वो अंदर से आती है चीज़. So जब वो belief system से आती है, internalized होती है rather than external. So people say कि तू डॉक्टर बन जा after 12, कि तू डॉक्टर after 10. if you have to choose a subject to go ahead, take science bio, you can be a good doctor, you have got good grades, तो engineering कर लो. So जब तक वो अंदर से नहीं आएगा, would you be able to do it better, और बाहर से आएगा तो would you be able to do it better?
अंदर से आएगा.
अंदर से आएगा. और अंदर से कब आता है? जब हमारा बिलीफ, इंटरेस्ट लेवल और जो हम अपने आप को बोलते हैं वो लाइंस एक्चुअली मैच करती है. जो हम बोल रहे हैं और जो हम बिलीव कर रहे हैं वो जब तक कोरिलेट नहीं करेंगे आपस में तब तक इट वोंट वर्क. सो व्हेन यू से आई नीड टू डू दिस, आई नीड टू डू दिस, एंड अंदर से आता है कि आई कैन डू दिस, इट इज नॉट मैचिंग. तो उस तब तुझे क्या बोलना है अपने आप को? देन यू नीड टू सी कि मैं ये बोलूँगा तो एक बेटर है, एंड बिकॉज आई बिलीव आई कैन डू इट, आई कैन. That is correct. And because अंदर से आएगा तो that thing makes you happy, even better than before. और कोई और बोल रहा था कि ये कर सकती है, sometimes you must say कि बात ही अच्छा लगता है, but जब वो अंदर से आता है ना कि यार I can sing it, तो जब वो belief system होता है और जब वो properly हमें पता होता है कि हम चीज़ कर सकते हैं, वो एक confidence level होता है, so उसके बाद वो चीज़ better होती है. So if you decide to give it, if you decide to take any action, then productive self-talk is the best thing to start with. Then coming on to rules. What rules do we follow? So any example with rules which you have followed? ये rule तो मेरी लाइफ में चलेगा नहीं चलेगा.
You mean like sticking to a rule when taking a decision?
So I'm asking you, do you stick or you be flexible with the rules which you have made? So some people have their thing like कि ये मेरे life के fundamentals हैं, I live by that and abide by that. Anybody has seen this one good show on Hotstar specials, on assassination? Nobody.
Which is the movie, sorry?
The Hotstar specials, it is a episode, like a series. 10 episodes on assassinations. So there's this guy who is chief minister, home minister, so of home minister of the state, and वो इस रूल से उसका एक बेटा होता है, and एक बेटी. So वो इस रूल से अबाइड करता है कि बेटी नहीं कर सकती, बेटी बेटी ही है after everything. and उसका एक डायलॉग है कि बेटा कुछ भी कर ले, बेटी कभी भी उसके लेवल तक क्यों नहीं आ सकती, क्योंकि उसमें वो क्रूरता नहीं आ सकती. So he mentioned क्रूरता नहीं आ सकती. So because of that rule he ended up making a whole mess just because of that. Other than that, every quality you see which you want to see in a politician, which was there in her and totally not in the guy, but just because of the rule, fixation of the rule, he ended up taking that decision which created all of a mess. And if I have to give give you the end part of it, so the guy dies and the father couldn't do anything, he's paralyzed, so she ends up being the one. So the rule, fixating the rules isn't helping you anymore. This is one example. Any example you can take from your life where you have fixated the rule and where you have maybe got into some problem, or you decided to take कि ये rule तो I will abide by, इसके बाद तो मैं किसी की नहीं सुनता, ये तो मुझे चाहिए. And where you have realized after few days or after months or after years probably, somewhere I need to be flexible with this rule. Sometime, somewhere, some point.
So it so happens that when I'm making new friends, I want the person who is, like the other person to make the first move. Like it's like right now I'm realizing it's my I don't know what kind of rule it is, but it's just my idea of making a new friend. Like they should make the first move. For example, when you were new in this office, it's like I won't come and talk to you. I want to be a friend with you, like a good friend of yours, but I won't make the first move. I don't know why. But that is one thing which
you realize that better be it flexible rather than being it fixed.
Like I can also make the first move.
If you realize that, it's the best thing. So I'm just saying that you have two options. The rules can be flexible, can be fixed. So sometimes I agree that it needs to be fixed on certain aspects or certain areas of our life. Like don't go and talk to strangers first. But coming over here, where you are in a system where you can talk and you learn from each other, being fixed on this part, okay, I won't go and first talk to the other person, will not be helping you that it would have been help you when you were flexible. So any example from your life?
So similar to hers, this is not a rule, but like now that I think of it, I always want, like if I'm in a conversation, I want the other person, like I want to listen to the other person's viewpoints first. Like I want to hear what is their side of the story first.
So that can be a good thing when you are somewhere where you should observe, and it can be a bad thing.
And the bad thing is that, I tend to listen more. Like I tend to be the person who's always like listening.
So if you realize, then that's the best thing. Any of your examples?
There was one point in my life where cricket was everything for me, like your brother. So it came first for me, like even my parents were after cricket for a short span of time. So that was completely wrong because I made horrible decisions because of that, and I wasted whole 1 year of my life because of that.
Finally, did you come to a conclusion that I need to kind of change with this rule? But did you do it happily or on a forceful basis? कि अब तो करना ही पड़ेगा, option नहीं है.
Like it was more of a realization that I was wrong and I had to.
So then that's a good thing. So if you realize that you need to change a rule, then only it will work. If you have just fixed a rule and somebody comes and forces you, somebody can be your parents mostly. ये rule you have to change it, ऐसे नहीं चलेगा. And you end up making it flexible just for them at that point of time. So would it work? Would it really do? जब तक वो internally नहीं आए from your belief system that you believe that point is better.
I don't think.
So for me, the rule is when I'm making any choice, I think about the consequences. So how is it going to affect people who are near and dear ones to me? So I don't really focus on what consequences I face when I choose that thing, but I will think more about what consequences might otherwise people near me face. So that is one rule that I've been following since a really long time.
Why do you feel that you need to make it flexible?
I need to make it flexible because I need to understand that this is a choice that I am making, so obviously it's going to have more impact on me than others. So obviously if it's going to affect positively, so the people around me are not going to face negative consequences, and I should really go on it. But what I do is I overanalyze it. It's perfect करेगा क्या, कुछ perfect करेगा क्या, तो नहीं करेगा तो क्या choose. So I need to really keep myself first because it's my choice. It's going to affect me more than others.
I have the same.
So for me, the rule would be is so there were certain decisions that need to be made. Okay, so I would always be like कि say mom को पहले पूछूं कि ये करना है कि नहीं करना है. So what was happening is कि it was leading to a certain kind of dependency तो नहीं बोलेंगे, but unless and until she doesn't say yes, मुझे लगता था कि मैं गलत. So it always had to be कि मुझे पूछ के करना. So there was, she never told me कि मुझे पूछा करना. But that, so then I thought कि वो थोड़ा change आना चाहिए उसमें. So
You kind of tried to make a change.
Yes.
Was it a good change, like which you made, being flexible some of the times?
Yeah, so I still ask her at times, but yes, थोड़ा flexible.
So was it good?
Was a good
Impact, good impact.
Yeah, it was.
मेरा हैबिट ऐसे कि मैं कुछ भी नया काम करूँ तो for that I need approval. मेरा रूल है जब तक किसी से अप्रूव नहीं हो जाता है कि वो अच्छा नहीं है तब तक I don't feel कि हाँ मैंने मेहनत की उस पर even though I know मैंने मेहनत की है but वो on the spot एक अप्रूवल चाहिए ना हाँ you can go ahead. वो मेरा रूल है कि कोई constant चाहिए and I need to be flexible in a way कि I need to trust myself and know my movement.
You have one?
अभी कोई माइंड नहीं.
कभी गुस्सा आता है? जब we will try to find one. कभी गुस्सा आता है? Give an example.
दोस्त पे आता है बहुत.
हाँ, दोस्त आता है तो specific example. ऐसे तो
कभी मस्ती करते करते ओवर हो जाता है.
हाँ, तो वो ओवर हो जाता है तो गुस्सा आता है जैसे दोस्त पे, तो तुझे क्या लगता है?
बात करना बंद कर दो उससे.
ऐसा हर बार जब लड़ाई होती है तब हर बार
जब कुछ एक्सट्रीम होता है तब
यू आर काइंड ऑफ बीइंग फ्लेक्सिबल, विद एक्सट्रीम हो रहा है तो वरना गुस्सा आता है तो आई दिस तो तू यू आर ऑलरेडी डिस्टिंक्शन मतलब इट इज ऑलरेडी डिस्टिंक्टिव इन टर्म्स ऑफ कब फ्लेक्सिबल रहना है कब फिक्स्ड रहना है। हर बार जब लड़ाई हो रही है तब तू उस पर जाके नहीं चिल्ला रही है, ये नहीं सोच रहा कि अब इससे तो खत्म है सारा। तो ऐसा कौन सा टाइम है जो व्हेन यू डू इट ऑल द टाइम, कभी भी ऐसी चीज हो गई आई विल डू इट ऑलवेज, मतलब इफ माय थिंग इफ आई टेल यू वन डे माय सिस्टर केम टू मी शी इज लाइक तुमको अपने सारे सीक्रेट्स बता, मैं भी अपने सारे बताऊंगी। ठीक है, मतलब चलो शी इज ट्राइंग टू मेक अ मूव बिकॉज चाइल्डहुड में इतना बड़ा डिफरेंसेस रहता था। सो नाउ दैट वी आर टीनेजर्स सो लेट if she is taking a move, I should also take a move. And maybe sharing is one thing which keeps us connected. That's what I knew at that point of time. So I kept on sharing and I shared everything which I had, like important details like. So she ended up saying, हाँ ये है. So she didn't tell the important aspect of her life, the boyfriend part. और मुझे वो 2 साल बाद पता चला कि she had a boyfriend since like 3 years. और उसने मुझे उस point of time पे नहीं बताया. So why? So, उसके बाद मुझे इतना गुस्सा आया ना, लाइक आज के बाद किसी को बात ही नहीं बतानी है जब तक वो सामने वाला मुझे वो बात नहीं बताएगा। That was the rule I had. But years later I realized इस रूल के साथ नहीं चलेगा। If somebody wants to share, then that's their option. And if somebody just doesn't, because उसने ना बोला था कि okay I'll share. That was the part where she was wrong. But I made it a rule कि जब तक मैं सबको बता रही हूँ सबको मुझे बताना है। That was the rule I made and उसकी वजह से बहुत सारे issues और create हुए। After which I got to learn कि नहीं ये rule तो नहीं चलेगा। Somebody wants to share by themselves, it comes from inside, then that's good. And that goes with me as well. I don't need to share everything to. I'm not obliged to anyone if someone is sharing something to me. उसने मुझे बहुत personal चीज share की, I should also do that. Until unless I don't trust a person, I don't feel like sharing it, I should. So that was the conclusion I made it like कि अभी flexible होने का time है. And I hope मैंने कुछ लोगों के साथ ऐसा किया भी है and people do realize कि ऐसा होता है. मैं living point of time के साथ वो भी समझे. अगर किसी को भी गुस्सा आ रहा ऐसा कोई और एग्जाम्पल तेरी लाइफ में जो तूने किया हो एंड यू रियलाइज कि यार अभी या फिर यू आर स्टिल डूइंग इट कि तेरा हर बात का एक हैबिट पैटर्न है।
not now yet. कोई माइंड में नहीं है ऐसा।
So if it comes do share. Even wise rules. जब हम रूल्स बना लेते हैं उसके बाद हम उन्हें तोड़ने में इतनी दिक्कत होती कि how can we break this rule? This is the rule. This needs to be there. And अगर ये टूट गया then you are shattered. Totally shattered. कि ये rule चलेगा मैं what should I do? So one can be we are always taught कि drink नहीं करना। We go out, college parties, friends, everybody is drinking. अच्छा नहीं करना वो थोड़ा टाइम तक तो खींचेगा धीरे it come down to the part कि okay drinking is fine because we were not familiar with it first but now we are familiar with it. So अभी क्या करना है मुझे? अभी should I do drink or should I not? अभी question आ जाता है। पहले I was on this part, you know I won't drink at all. That was the decision I made. I reevaluated the decision. I made a choice now. So choice अभी तक नहीं बना है. So I reevaluated the decision and my belief system. Should I drink or should I not? So now I had a choice to make. And the pros and cons कि पी लूँगा कि नहीं पीऊँगा. अभी लिमिट में पीना है कि आउट ऑफ लिमिट पीना है. So sometimes people ends up taking a good choice कि ठीक है मुझे लिमिट में पीना है. Sometimes people have this difficulty कि यार नहीं मैं ये तोड़ ही नहीं सकता. ये decision मैंने तोड़ दिया तो मुझे बहुत ज़्यादा प्रॉब्लम हो जाएगी. Let's say drinking is one of the thing. Getting tattooed. So अगर मैंने बना दिया घर वाले ऐसे बात नहीं करेंगे. So ये और getting physical onto something जो हमको घर में नहीं सिखाया जाता and इसके बाद यार मैंने ये तो बहुत बड़ा पाप कर दिया. ये तो होना ही नहीं चाहिए था. तो being fixated on rules sometimes brings ourselves some negative things in our mind and which we need to basically it deals with our mental health. So जब तक हमने जो rules बना रखे हैं वो abruptly टूटेंगे तो there will be a what we can say there will be a consequence to it. It will affect our mental health. And if we ourselves try and focus and be aware about our rules, and we decide that we need to be flexible or fix it at what time of on what point of time, then it makes more sense, and your mental health is also kind of saved from that aspect. Okay, the third one will be perceptions. So how do you think perceptions are related to choices? Anyone? So what is a perception? Your viewpoint, how your viewpoint is related to choices. Making a good choice or a better choice.
Perception is, I think, my opinion towards something. Just an opinion.
Okay. Anybody else? Want to give it a shot?
I think the way how we perceive is not just based on an individual decision, but also taking everybody who is close to us, giving them into the perspective.
So all things are right for me. So the thing is, perception is a viewpoint. Viewpoint. How does we say that this viewpoint is a better viewpoint or this viewpoint is a worse viewpoint or a bad one? So we kind of when we are born, we don't have any viewpoints of our own. So how the viewpoints are created at first? First we see certain situations or events, we deal with certain events, and then we come on to a point that when we form our beliefs or our interest level or our assumptions, this thing should be happening this way, and ये ऐसा नहीं है, मतलब ये चीज़ गलत है, or our morals or our values, these kind of, we start defining these things in our own mind. When we decide these things and we are fixed on those things, okay, this is this, this is this. So we kind of structure everything out. Okay, this is my thing, I need to follow this thing and do not need to shout or I do not need to abuse or use bad words. So these kind of things, we start from the basic and we create a viewpoint. कि कोई गंदा बोला इसका मतलब we don't need to talk to him. So this is like जब हम बड़े तो छोटी-छोटी बातें होती हैं. ऐसे जैसे बड़े होते जाते हैं, तब we keep on creating viewpoints. Based on those viewpoints, we create our perceptions. So those viewpoints, we can say these are our rules which we make. And उन rules को हम कैसे देखते हैं? So we have seen कि हमें rules को change करना है, be flexible or be fixed. हमें कब क्या रखना है वो हमें पता है. But वो होगा कैसे? जब हम उसकी तरफ perception change करेंगे. So be it कि आज मेरा एक चीज को perception, एक चीज का लेके ये perception है कि say okay, let's take the perception of section 377. What views do you have about section 377? Was it a good action to take or was it not? And why?
It's good.
Good, then why?
Because I know few people who wanted this to happen, and at the end, those people who have their own, like it's their choice, usually there's nothing wrong in them. They are humans. So these are basic human rights that everyone deserves. So I think it was a good decision that this was.
And why, according to few people, it was not a good decision?
That is their opinion, right? So I don't know what made them think that way.
So that is my point, that we are fixed on one perception. So we should decide like, okay, this is my decision to make, or this is my choice, or this is my viewpoint. But if you need to understand all the perceptions, like all the maximum perceptions. You can't always get to all the perceptions. We need to take into account कि okay, ये perception भी हो सकता है. So some people say कि ये scientific, मतलब I mean genes में ही problem है, और some people are like इनको तो मैं ठीक कर दूँ, हमारे पास भेज दो, हमारे पास ऐसा दूधी or something. We will have certain kind of viewpoints. keep those viewpoints into account and then create your own viewpoint. And then when you present that viewpoint to others and to yourself, that kind of creates more impact on your life. So that creates a better rule for you, where you can be flexible or flexible depending on your area, like where your context in which you are using. So that's about perception. Anyone have ever changed their, like, looked out for all the perceptions and then went out for, like, this is the viewpoint I will take. I'll give you my example. So I had this perception कि पापा हमेशा डिस्टिंग्विश करते हैं, ऐसा करते हैं, घर में हमेशा ऐसे ही होता है कि मुझे डांट पड़ेगी, बट या फिर कभी भी लड़की लड़कों में डिस्टिंक्शन होता है, ऐसा कुछ. सो दीज ऑल काइंड ऑफ परसेप्शन जो घर में होते हैं, आई यूज्ड टू have those perceptions. With the time I realized कि ये मेरा perception है and अभी सामने वाले का क्या viewpoint है. So I never considered the other person's viewpoint. It just, the gay thing was one big thing overall where you take into account of, like, many people's perceptions. But this is a two-way thing कि between your friend or you or your parents or your cousins, anybody. So you kind of create a perception कि यार मैं ही सही हूँ, मेरी लड़ाई हुई है या कुछ भी हुआ है या हम दिल से बात भी कर रहे हैं या we are discussing or debating on a topic, but I am the right person and we keep on putting our point forward. You know, this is the point, this is right, and we do not try to hear out the point of the other person. Just नहीं, ये point तो सही नहीं है, mine is perfect. So when I got on the other side, okay, let's see वो क्या सोच रहे हैं, वो क्यों सोच सकते हैं. So I got to understand, okay, so he has also some limitations to what he can allow me to do, what he can't, because we live in a joint family or whatever the things are. So when I got to know his viewpoint, my anger towards that particular situation was kind of boiled down. My choices based on those anger which was affecting again me, that was also being relieved to some point. The mental stress which I was going through because of those things, that was relieved. So kind of it's a chain which we follow. We perceive, we make rules, we kind of create a mental health issues for us, and then we go into stress and stuff, and then we create more rules out of it. कि अब मेरे को stress हो रहा है, अब तो ये पक्का ही ऐसा है. अब and I'm the only person right over here, and he needs to change. So that was my thing, which I understood from my own life. Anyone, which you have like the perception?
I'll say something similar in regards to my dad. So I also sort of, stopped and thought, like, why does he think in this way? And yes, what I have, like, at least from what I reflected and I sort of came to a conclusion to, is that a lot of people from the generation before ours, they have a pretty cultured way of thinking, more of like Indian culture way of thinking. And I guess just a small specific about that is when we had a conversation, like my mom, me and my father, he was the one who always wanted to get the last word in. And then I learned about what deconstructing the male ego is all about, how men always think they need to have the last word, they need to always be the, Though what I realized also from deconstructing that is that men have always taken on that responsibility on them of trying to bring, things in control, like trying to provide for their family, to be there for their wife, so on and so forth. So on one hand, he hasn't changed, like he always is the same. He wants to have the last word. But though on the other hand, I appreciate that my father is still, with us, like he's, with my family and everything. We have our little tussles now and then, but he can put that back, like in the background and still, be with us.
So when we understand, we can, try it in a better way to explain that person. But other than that, when we don't understand their viewpoint, so let's see, it's from our side to their viewpoint. Let's just revolve it around, turn it around and see कि वो हमें देख रहे कि वो सोच रहे हम बिल्कुल गलत हैं. And when they come to our point and then they see maybe this can also be a right thing to do, so maybe that's even better. Or ये kind of relationship solving mate is better. And so because we maintain a good relation with them now, and while we maintain a good relationship, they will understand our viewpoint better, because when we say it, so we will have good credibility to what we are saying, and it will have a good impact. So with the give some time, because they have core beliefs in them, and some things are in genes, it is just passed on through cultures. You need to do everything, you need to pass on, you need to protect or safeguard your family, and so that you need to have a last say, so that nobody can blame themselves, I can blame myself. Even that can be one thing to say, even because my father is we are 3 sisters, so he has the responsibility of my mother, 3 sisters and everything, and her mother, my grandmother and grandfather, so it's a whole bunch of responsibility. Then he is big in, he is elder in family, so
Father figure.
yeah, so the father figure, and elder means I have chacha as well, uncle and aunt and their children, so he just takes all the responsibility on himself that okay, I need to protect my family, I need to keep it together to be it a happy, safe family. But while they are doing it, they don't realize that they are creating some kind of problems. So as they start realizing it, so as my mom says, abhi jo ye gussa hai, ye to kuch bhi nahi hai, tumne pehle dekha hoga. So it's they are also evolving. We just need to see that, appreciate that. We can kind of have to build that relationship. So all these things, where does it come from? Our perceptions. So not only our perceptions, but our perception of what other people's perceptions are, and how do they perceive. So just put yourself in their shoes and then try and understand what they are thinking. They might be wrong, but at least taking a viewpoint of what they are thinking doesn't harm you in any way. So you can always evaluate pros and cons. So that's the third. Fourth thing will be, we need to limit our options. So what do I mean by this? Limit our options. So how can we limit and make a better choice? So these are all the points which will help you get into a better choice. Help you decide a better choice which will be effective as well. We kind of make a choice and we realize that this was a choice we shouldn't have made. And if we keep these points in mind, one more is there. So if we keep these points in mind, we'll end up making a better choice than we used to make before. I hope it will do. Do give me the feedback. And so limit your options. So how do limiting your options help you to get a better choice? So choice is deciding between options. So how do limiting options get you to a better choice? Any example which you can think of?
Maybe eliminating some of the options can help us.
That one thing will be eliminating.
I think if I have limited options, so for example, it usually happens when you go to an ice cream store, if there are only 3 flavors, and if there are 16 flavors, obviously when you have just 3 flavors, you pick up फटाफट हो जाएगा काम. So I think faster decisions.
In an effective way.
Yeah.
That, okay, what do you want?
They could be happy with
your
any
decision.
3 of them.
Anything.
Yes. So
The-
Me, it so happens that if I have many choices to choose from, it becomes more confusing for me. So what I do is I just mentally quickly do this pros and cons analysis. I boil it down to some 3 or 4 choices, and then who's is the best choice is what I go for. So the more number of choices I have, the more confusing it becomes for me to choose. It's eliminating.
Anyone else?
So while selecting my subjects after my 10th standard, so there were only 3 options: arts, commerce, or science. That was much more easier as compared to after my SI grade. Like after my bachelor's because there were 6 or 7 types of psychologies from which I had to select one best one which would suit to me. So it kind of took me almost 2.5 months to decide that what am I supposed to go into, and for that I tried various options also. Okay, my first marathon, yeah, I should not regret myself. So yeah, the first one was very quick as compared to this one.
So I usually use this strategy while I'm shopping. So if I have to shop for something, for example, if I have to shop only for a kurta, so I have my favorite brands, so I will just go to that particular stores. Like if I have to pick 3, so I'll just pick 3 out of the known brands and I'll just check there. तो मेरा काम फास्ट हो जाता है, मेरी चॉइस और जो अच्छा लगता है वो ही उठा के आ जाता है.
So what I do in that aspect is I don't eliminate as in when I go in front of it. I just pre-decided कि मुझे ये कलर का चाहिए, इस स्टाइल में चाहिए, and then I go and like उसी पे ही नजर रहती कि ये खरीदना है. So even if there are like thousands of styles which are there, I know which one to buy. And if I'm confused, I just go and I come back home and I end up buying nothing. So this is what happens with me.
In choosing subjects after 10th is much easier than choosing a particular field after doing college.
So you are kind of going through it right now. So how are you making it?
I am pursuing 4 colleges to go and I have to make one choice, so I am not still stuck to one college.
How are you going about it? Like the steps which you have taken. So you have come to Mumbai, that's the first step you have taken. Other steps.
So 2 colleges are in Churchgate and 2 colleges are in Vileparle. So nearer is Vileparle and Churchgate is I have to travel half an hour. So it's difficult during rain time. So I'm stuck to 2 colleges in Vileparle, which is nearby and it's easier to travel. So I maybe choose 2 of the colleges.
That's how you are kind of eliminate. So like the area, like something you kind of create to decide how to eliminate other choices, or how you pre-decide कि मुझे ये course चाहिए. So I go on with these colleges. Now I have to decide which one is better for me, which one is giving admission to me first of all. Yeah, the marks based कि ये चीज़ है, और the interview grade it goes good. Anything of your?
The first year of college, when I joined my college in Ahmedabad, so I was trying to search for the best cricket academy. So for around 1 or 2 weeks I was roaming here and there. I searched whole Ahmedabad for the academy. But later on I just joined the academy which was right in front of my college because it was the easiest to travel and time saving.
So what did you learn from it?
So we will always take the option which is the easiest and which saves our time.
Which is better for us, but kind of eliminating first helps you. So that's the thing. But how to limit your options or how to eliminate it? So there's one more thing. Look out for long-term goal. So it's kind of, this helps you when you are making a very big decision, not in terms of मुझे क्या खाना है, तो उसमें कोई long term goal नहीं है. At last where it is going to go we all know. So it's kind of a long term goal when we are making a big decision. So about our careers or about our health, our finances, our choosing our partners. So it's kind of getting into some really deep stuff which we need to think about कि long term का क्या effect होगा, be it on your mental health or be it on your other aspects of your life. So अगर कोई भी हम decision ले तो उसका long term goal क्या है? So how do we decide? So first is the eliminate कर दिया, elimination के बाद भी. So if you have 2 colleges left, so how are you gonna decide based on your long term goal कि मुझे ये आगे कैसे help करेगा? Be it placements, be it कि मुझे यहाँ पे कितनी opportunities मिलेंगी जिससे मेरा आगे का skill development होगा, so that I can either pursue a good postgrad college or a good company to I can join, or what I can learn after these 3 or 4 years of my college life. That's kind of a long term goal. It's still a short one, but it can be more long term. Like after 10 years, where do I see myself? So for 10 years, you need to start pushing yourself. So it depends on your goal. So what you are choosing for, and what goal do you want to reach towards? What is your objective? So these are the 5 things which I feel like it can help you choose in a better and effective way. Any questions about this? Anything you want to ask about choices which you are making right now, which you have made, you want to evaluate, or you think still there's a question mark, what I did and how I did it, anything that comes to your mind while you think the choices are there.
So I don't face a big problem with it, but because these days we have access to so much information, be it in like shopping, be it in career choice, just anything. I recently learned about this term, and you guys might have already heard before. It's called FOMO, fear of missing out.
Yeah.
And I realized that I have a lot of it. Like just a example is, this would have not happened to me like even a few years back, just like buying a shoe. But these days, if you just want to like buy like a shoe, if you just type that into say Google, it will give you thousands of results, and that will take you to another like shopping website which has its own deals. So listening to this helps, because now I can like tell myself that there's a certain time frame that I have to make a decision based on this in this budget. But listening to you talk about this and listening to all of you share, I just like realized I have a lot of FOMO.
To a certain degree, we all have it. Like fear of missing out on. So I when I'm in Mumbai, I miss out my hometown. When I'm in my hometown, I'm like, there was this good thing, I can go out, party or something. So I can eat something really good from outside, because my hometown is like a small town. So there I can't get good options. Like I get very fewer. Sometimes the ghar ka khana. So I like it. So that's
I also had FOMO in coming here because I had decided to go to Ghatkopar to Asiku or like to check out these shoes. But then I realized that those shoes are not going away anywhere. I can even go there like after this. But I want to like still.
I really appreciate you for that.
Yeah.
And I hope you have made a better choice. I hope you realize it at the end. So yeah, that was the choices part of it. Now, why I have put accountability? So my initial idea was, let people be aware about what choices do they have and how they can make a better choice. But I thought, okay, so now we have made a choices. कि हमने समझ भी लिया कि choices होती क्या. But now what? We again make a choice. We end up evaluating it and we regret. Shit, हमने ये choice ले ली थी. Okay, now what should we do? We have so either we crib, यार ये ले लिया, and we create a story out of it. We create, we put ourselves into so much stress. This choice I made like why did I make this choice? मतलब मैं तो बिल्कुल गलत हूँ. Some people say अभी हो गया. अरे नहीं, लेकिन मैंने ली कैसे ये choice? Sometimes we evaluate, okay, ठीक है मैंने ये ली choice. Some people तो like हाँ मैंने ली, मैंने बोला था जो मेरे को करना था मैंने कर दिया. It's okay. So they are not even learning from it. Both the ways, either cribbing or it's like not even thinking about it, what have you done, because it is affecting you but others as well. So with you are not realizing it now, it is affecting you, and with others it has started affecting them, but you don't realize it now. So then we have an option to go back in the past. अभी जो हमने choices ली थी, can evaluate totally. Okay, so this was the option made me available for me, and I made this option out of it. Okay, so now if it is not a better option, how can I choose it in a better way? So that is the accountability part of it. I want to just first make a clear difference between what is your responsibility and what is your accountability. Any viewpoints on this? responsibility versus accountability. Choices versus making a decision, and responsibility versus accountability. So why do we crib if we make a choice and we don't think that it was a good choice? We feel responsible for it. Do we? So what is responsibility and what is accountability in terms of what you think? How you perceive responsibility as how you perceive accountability is?
I could be wrong, though the way I'm thinking of it is responsibility is the what, accountability is the why. So for example, in terms of just buying the shoe, right? One of my responsibilities is to buy like boots fast because these shoes will get spoiled. So that is okay. So my responsibility is to get boots, and the why is because I have to be accountable for my current shoes right now. So does that sort of make sense? Like what is the responsibility?
It's on the way of. So if I take a really simple example, we go to an office. Our boss comes and gives this whole bunch of responsibility that you need to follow certain tasks, ye hai, aisa hai, and you need to do all this work till a certain date. They give you a deadline. Then you're like, okay, so that is your responsibility. So it is shared with you. It is either shared with few of the people or it is shared with you by the other person. So you are obliged to do it. That you have to do it. If you don't do it, you are responsible. So you are responsible for it. And it comes like the before, you are responsible for it. And afterwards sometimes, I'll come to afterwards part of it. So before you are responsible. So after you have completed the work or not completed the work, depending on that, you are accountable to yourself. So how? The work came, you are supposed to give it in 10 days, but you didn't complete that work in 10 days. So now you are accountable to yourself. You were responsible for that work, okay, but then you are accountable to yourself. Why didn't you do that work? So what was the purpose of not doing that work? So you are here for a job to do and you are not doing that work. Why? So you are accountable on that part. You can evaluate, why didn't I do? Maybe I didn't like the work, or maybe whatever reasons can be. Reasons can be 1,000 reasons. But why did you do that job? So he's right in terms of why is kind of accountability, but on an internal part of it. So we can't make others accountable for the decisions we made. So when the boss came, suppose we ended up choosing that project, or he only gave us, but we ended up choosing this job, and we knew that we'll have to take orders from him. That is kind of the accountability part which we chose to be in. That we will be accountable to ourselves, not to others. कि वो तो काम ही इतना देते हैं, वो ये ऐसा करते हैं, वो ऐसा ही है, उसे हर बात पे रोना होता है, एक दिन लेट हो गया तो वो क्या गया. So you're kind of trying to externalize it to somebody else. But accountability is something which comes from inside. You are not obliged to anyone and you are not accountable to anyone. You are responsible. So that's the after part. You are responsible for the job being done to your boss or anybody higher than you, or who takes up the charge of what you do, or your mentor. But you are not accountable to that person. You are accountable to yourself from your choices which you have made, from your beliefs, your intentions, your values. So you are accountable to those. You are not accountable to other people. So let's say for the example where the girl called up, ended up saying, तेरी वजह से मेरी life खराब हो गई. So everybody remember that example? Okay. So now there are two parts, the girl's part and the boy's part. So girl ended up making a choice कि उसने call किया, and again she had a choice कि जो choice उसने दी है option कि तू भाग जा, you go away, run away, get married and everything. So you ended up taking that choice. So you finally, if anything goes wrong, you can't make other person accountable for it. That because of you I did that. So you had a choice, he didn't impose on you. So he was not responsible for that, as well as he is not accountable for what you did. So you did it by your own choice. He just suggested you something. He could have, I understand that he could have done it in a better way. That this is what my perspective is. This is what my perception to think is, that this is the whole scenario. And what I understood is that you can go and run away. Maybe girl would have not told the whole story. What their parents were saying was right. Maybe the guy is they would have found out that the guy was not right, or financial constraint, which people don't understand at that point of time. But they just think that I have two choices. Either I can run away, or I can stay, or I can do this. They don't take into the perception of other people and make a choice, which I was saying. We need to take perceptions of other people's as well, so that to make a better choice out of it. And if we are asking some other person to make a choice on our behalf, we need to tell the whole story. And if we are not, after that as well, you are only accountable, because at last you only took that decision and tried to act upon it. Acting is where we are put accountable to ourselves, because anybody can. So if I'll say go and jump in the well, you won't do that probably, because you decide, ये चीज़ तो मुझे नहीं करनी है. Okay, I'm good with this thing. And even if you decide, okay, I want to do this, you are accountable for it, not me. So that for the terrorists, what they say is कि इस चीज़ के लिए लड़ो, तुम ये करो, ये लोग ये चीज़ नहीं करें, उनका ब्रेन वॉश करते हैं. But वो लोग ये चीज़ अपने अंदर लेते हैं कि हाँ, I want to do this, I want to act upon it. And finally, they don't blame others कि इसने मुझे ऐसा बनाया. Like हमें ऐसा ही. At least we can learn that thing from them, कि they are accountable to themselves. So this is what accountability is about. So and the other guy, the guy was like, maybe he could have been like, said, हाँ ये तो तेरा option था, मैंने तो तेरे को बोला था. Instead, he could have explained it in a better way. Yeah, based on this circumstances, I gave you these options. I gave you the best option which I thought. So you ended up taking that. Or guy might be like, shit, मैंने ये क्या option दे दिया, मेरी वजह से उसकी life खराब हो गई. So sometimes take blames on ourselves. क्योंकि accountability नहीं भी है, responsibility नहीं भी है, then also we kind of put it on ourselves. ये मेरी responsibility, ये मेरी accountability, I am accountable to that person. So you are never accountable. So choice part is okay. You have made a choice, be it a good or be it a bad. But you are accountable only to yourself and to learn from it. Not to crib on it, like you can crib like for a while to understand that कि okay, cribbing से कुछ नहीं होने वाला है. Because even if I say you don't crib on your choices, that's not gonna happen. You are gonna take a decision, take a choice based on what you believe. It will take time to change, but yeah, you can try and change this thing that you are accountable to yourself in this situation. कि okay, now this is a choice I had made, and I can learn from it, or I can crib on it again and again and again and again. So even on the accountability part, we have choices too. With one choice, we can crib on it. Second choice, we can like go through that event again, go through our choices. And learn from it. Not only going through past experiences is like सोचो ही मत कभी उसके बारे में जो तुमने किया है. Just भूल जाओ उसको, keep it aside, or not thinking about it. That is like the third option. नहीं सोचने से भी और ज़्यादा सोचने से भी, दोनों से ही कुछ नहीं होने वाला है. Thinking about it, but with a purpose, with a set goal, why I am thinking about it. Because अगर हम कुछ, let's say if we are choosing a career, कि मुझे ये चीज़ करनी है, so if you end up choosing a career which you are not interested in, you're like okay यार, मतलब जो भी मेरा option I can go for it. You have not set a goal or certain outcome which you want to receive from it, without which you are entering into something, then it is not going to help you out. So based on that, even accountability part is that way. If you are going into something, you need to have a set goal. Why are you going into something? Even if you're going to your past experiences, you're thinking about your future, you're thinking about being in a relationship, about your fitness, about going to gym or exercise. Gym चलता है, तो तू जा रहा है, चल मैं भी चलता हूँ. So you need to have purpose कि मैं क्यों जा रहा हूँ, तू क्यों जा रहा है. Then only it is going to work out in a better way. So I hope you like understand why I made this activity a part of this talk, because I wanted to make you feel and understand this, that like learning the theory part of it is very easy and okay, I am saying yeah, I'll do it, it's okay, I'll divide this choices into sub choices, I'll do the pros and cons. But until unless you realize it, you feel it, you feel connected to it, you internalize that thing, you won't be able to do it that effectively that you would have done probably this way. So the point of doing this activity was which color you choose, which kind of structure you make, how you make it, how you finish it, or how you say that it represents you. It defines the choices you take in life. Why have you taken certain choices? Why do you make this particular thing? How does that choice defines you now? Because the choices which we have made since then till now is what we are. So the choices which you have taken, the colors which you have taken and made something which defines you, and now you are accountable for it in terms of whatever you have made. You may feel like one day that you need to add something to it, you need to delete something from it, or you need a whole new personality or a whole new thing which you have, a whole new structure which you have made till now. But at this point of time, what you felt best, you made that choice and you made something out of it, and you actually explained it to, not to me, to yourself, why did you make a certain thing and how did it personalize you. So if we do it on a regular basis, whatever choices we take, okay, so I've taken this choice and I'm good with that, I'm okay with that. Maybe that choice can go wrong, maybe that choice can go right, but I'm happy taking that choice because that defines me, that's who I am, and I am accountable for it, nobody else is. So that's the accountability part. So accountability, just keep repeating to yourself why you are doing certain things. If you are doing something, keep reminding yourself. And when you remind yourself that you are doing certain thing that which you chose to do, that helps you keeping the accountability maintained. Like, okay, I need to check myself. I don't need to put it on others or simply cry about it. The second will be always review yourself and make a choice. So whatever you have done earlier, go there, review yourself. If it is on a similar basis, why have you done a certain thing? How did you do it? So just go back in the past, review yourself, what you did, how you did, and what you can learn from it. Be it a positive thing or be it a negative thing. Learn both and then evaluate. Because for everyone, positive and negative can be different. So for you, what is it? Because others can say, तूने जो ये किया था ना उस टाइम पे ये तूने ये गलत किया, ऐसा तुझे नहीं करना चाहिए. But finally it boils down to what you think. Was that right or was that wrong? That's the perception you need to take. Then third will be emphasize on your strengths and your weaknesses. What is your strength and what is your weakness? So try and make your weaknesses your strength and your strength a boon to help you in the choices which you are making or the decisions which you are taking. So now the last part of it, mental fixation. Anybody has ever been a part of it, mental fixation? What do you understand by mental fixation as you said no, I'm not been a part of it.
I have never heard of it, so I said.
Okay. So what mental fixation is, so when we go, as I'm saying continuously, we go in the past when we had taken a choice, we try and revive that whole thing and understand it, dividing it in parts, that why we did what we did. So not because to understand why we did, but why, because of what we did, so how it can help in future or in further areas of our life, in the other areas of our life. So when we go in past, just don't stick on to one thing. Okay, 3 बार मैंने ये चीज़ की, ये चीज़ सही चली गई, then I need to make a rule out of it and fix it. ये ऐसा ही करना है. If I decide something, if I do something and it goes right, like 3 to 4 times, I've given advices. Suppose let's take an example. I've given advices to someone and हर बार वो advice बहुत सही जा रही है and everybody is happy with that advice. That doesn't mean that I belong here to just advise people and I keep on advising people, you know, you should do it with that so much of confidence that ये तो मेरा life का एक part है and I'll do it. You need to understand that mental fixation is something which you need to look for. You cannot be right for everything you do in every part of your life. Sometimes you may be right, sometimes you may be wrong. So that again boils down to rules which you make. So the rules don't make it a fixed rules. That if something goes right, then it's that way I need to follow it now. So